Kamila from ChefKamila.com. Today we are going to make Polish hash browns. In Polish we call them płatki ziemniaczane or PLENDZE, depending on the region. And in Hungarian it's called TÓCSI. The reason I'm mentioning all the three names is because I'm Polish and I live in Hungary, in Budapest. Originally, Polish hash browns include white flour and eggs. In my version, because it's vegan and gluten-free, I will skip the eggs and I will use corn flour and potato starch. And honestly speaking, there is no need for egg. They are fluffy and crispy and it's really delicious. I did this dish for omnivores and herbivores, and honestly speaking, they were all enjoying eating it. So I think you should definitely give it a try, whether you are vegan or vegetarian transitioning into vegan, or simply you want your hash browns immediately and you don't have eggs, you don't have to worry, simply follow this recipe and you will end up with really delicious Polish hash browns. So for this recipe we will use 1 kilogram potatoes and some corn flour and potato starch, and basically that's it. Normally, how I did it when I was a child, because I'm coming from a family of 5, I have 2 older brothers, and you know, my parents were working, so it was normal for us to help in the kitchen when we were small. Actually, I truly didn't like that, but I didn't really have so much choice. And of course, Polish hash browns, they were a very common lunch in my family because A, it was inexpensive, and B, it was simple to make. We used this shredder, and you can imagine in my family there were guys. So my father, my 2 older brothers, my mom and me. So first I had to peel, I don't know, maybe 5 kilograms of potatoes, and then the worst part was that I had to shred it on this shredder. And I still remember that my knuckles were very often scratched, and it wasn't a really pleasant experience. So when I went to university and I knew that this is a really simple dish to make, I stopped doing it because I simply didn't like to use this tool. And luckily my life got simpler with this machine, and I bought a special plate for it which has exactly the same sharp holes as this shredder, so I use this one. Of course, if you don't have a kitchen standing robot, you can simply use this one. It's if you are careful, nothing will happen to you, so it's perfectly fine to use it. I will run 1 kilogram potatoes through the food processor, and afterwards I will add flour and starch and I will fry it on the pan. So let's begin. It took me 1 minute to shred 1 kilogram potatoes through my food processor. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that magic in the kitchen? I mean, seriously, I still remember suffering through an hour shredding potatoes manually. Every time I use this machine, I truly feel blessed. So, as you can see, the potatoes are nicely shredded. They're a little bit liquidish, but that's normal. I will transfer it into the bowl. It really does splooge. Now I will add around 6 tablespoons of corn flour. Add 2 tablespoons potato starch. Now it's the time to mix all the ingredients. Sometimes I like to add red paprika or cayenne pepper, dill, whatever my eye sees and think that it's going to taste good. But if you've never done this before, I advise you to follow this recipe. Keep it simple, and then you can make a different variation of it. I will also add 1 teaspoon Himalaya salt. Feel free to add less or more. And when it's well combined, leave it for 10 minutes to rest. After 10 minutes, mix the potatoes and use non-stick pan for frying. In my kitchen I have two types of non-stick pans. The first is ceramic and the second is Teflon. And I know that Teflon has bad opinion and it is advised to avoid it in the kitchen. As far as I understand, Teflon is alright. The problem starts when you scratch it. This is why I always use wooden or silicone spatulas that are not scratching the surface of the pan. I also take care for it. So for example, when I wash it, I always put a kitchen towel on it and then I store it in my cupboard. So in case I put something on the top, it won't get scratched. Or I put this bubble foil on it. So it prevents, from scratching. When I did this recipe for the very first time, I used a ceramic pan and I killed it. You have to know, if you don't know already, that ceramic pans are very sensitive to high heat. So, for sauteing the onions, it's perfectly fine. For some short frying, it's also perfectly fine. Ceramic pans are perfectly fine for medium-high heat, but when you really want to heat up your oil, it's not good. Therefore, I'm going to use today Teflon pan. And for this recipe, we will use quite a big amount of oil. So we can't consider this recipe as healthy. I do it maybe once or twice every 3 to 4 months. I really love the taste of it. And second thing is about the oil. So whenever you want to deep fry, use high smoking point oil, which means that when the oil will reach high temperature, it will not create carcinogens that are responsible for creating cancer cells in your body. On the list with high smoking point oils, you find oils done from grape seeds, from rape seeds, and I think that's all. I'm not so sure about sunflower seeds. Also, I read that coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil, is fine for frying. And there are two types of coconut oil. There is the one that is smellless, it's a cheaper version, and there is the one that has a very strong smell. So what I did is, for frying, I used the smellless coconut oil, the cheaper one, and for cakes, and especially raw cakes, I used extra virgin coconut oil, which is way more expensive. Alright, coming back to the recipe, sorry if I overtalk you with oils, but I find it important to know what to use. I truly believe that cooking should correspond with your health, and as I mentioned, this recipe is not the healthiest on earth, but if we can make it a bit more healthier, then why not to do it? For this recipe, I'm going to use high smoking point oil. This oil is done from grape seeds, rape seeds, and sunflower seeds. So many names. I truly love it. In the past, I used coconut oil, the smellless coconut oil for frying. And there are different studies, but the more I read about oils, I find that extra virgin, so cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, is very fragile and shouldn't be used in frying. It should be used in salads. And there is only one recipe on my website for Italian bruschetta with asparagus where I use extra virgin olive oil, quality one, because the taste really depends on that oil. And the oil are hot. Remember to mix the potatoes just before pouring it onto the pan. Okay? You can hear it that it's properly heated up. I use 1 tablespoon to create 1 hash brown. Of course, you can create bigger or smaller, it depends on your taste and preference. So as you can see, they are getting brown on the edges, which means that they are getting ready. You can simply move it, you can see. Yeah. We'll flip it. It's too early to flip it. As you can see, it was not so easy to flip it, and it's still very whitish, and it should be brown. It should be crispy brown. The first batch is always an experiment because you are testing the pan, how hot the pan is, and whether you will have to increase the heat or decrease the heat. So if the first hash brown is not so perfect, it's perfectly fine. You will see that the second round will be much better. But I think we are doing pretty well. Yes, they are getting brown, but it's still not what we want. So I will simply flip it, allowing the other side to fry as well. Okay, let's check the other side. So usually the first hash browns take a bit longer, and this is because usually, you know, the oil is hot but it's not that hot, and so we will keep them a bit longer. Ooh, they are getting ready. Actually, I will take them out. I don't want to make them too dry. So as you can see, I hope you can see on the background, I put them on the kitchen towel. It's not necessary, but it's just, it will take some oil from them. Polish hash browns are ready. Of 1 kilogram of potatoes, I got 22 hash browns. The last one is a really gigantic one. It's just simply, you know, at the end there is a bit of butter left, and it's more than for 1, not enough for 2, and I always end up with a very big one, although I really like it. And now it's the perfect moment to make the sauce for it. I wanted to make very nice sauce from natural soy yogurt. I just realized that my natural soy yogurt is expired. I tried it, and it's one of the most horrible things I've tried. So I have to improvise for this video, and I decided to check it out with a vegan mayonnaise. So instead of this horrible yogurt, I'm going to put vegan mayonnaise. So it will definitely taste differently, but I'm just curious how it's going to be. I will make a small amount just for testing. I will add dill. It's a dry dill. Of course, if you have fresh one, you can add fresh. Okay, it's a nice aromatic dill. A bit of garlic. Instead of powdered garlic, you can use 1 clove fresh garlic. I will add salt. So just imagine that instead of a vegan mayonnaise, you use natural soy yogurt. So you will do exactly step by step like this. And pepper. And I will mix everything. So you can see it's like a herbal sauce. It's just with yogurt, it's more liquid. Mayonnaise is more thick. But we will see. So I think it's the right moment to try it. I think I will skip the big one for later on, and I will pick this one, the small one. So basically I will spread a bit of cream on the top. And then I will put some cheese. And let's try. Do you hear this? I love it. And the edges are crispy, and the inside, I mean the middle, is soft. That's how I like my hash browns. PLENDZE, placki ziemniaczane, or TÓCSI. What can I say about this? I mean, it's naughty. It's naughty food. It really makes me feel like a kid. I think I will have another one. I think this looks good. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you liked it, just give me a smile. If you haven't subscribed and you wish to see my videos every Thursday and be notified about it, subscribe. Bye now.